In 1993, our father created the Ultimate Fighting Championship to educate the world on the importance of learning Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And now that every professional fighter has added Jiu-Jitsu to their arsenal, we want to break down precisely how they're using it so you can add it to yours. Now, MMA fans, there are two types. Those who have an understanding of what's going on when the fight hits the ground, and those who have no understanding of what's going on when the fight hits the ground. Talk about percentages. Maybe 10% at most have an idea of what's happening. 90% of the people who watch MMA have no clue or appreciation for what happens when it hits the ground, and that's why people boo and they constantly want to stand up to fights. So our goal is to take you from the 90 and bring you into the 10 party. And hopefully, once you have a newfound appreciation for the nuances and the beauty of the art, maybe you can become a student and learn this technique and take it to the top. Now, the first fight we want to break down is the incredible match between GSP and Dan Hardy, UFC 111. The amount of jiu-jitsu in that match was unbelievable. It was pretty much a jiu-jitsu match all the way through from both parties. GSP's takedowns, controls, passes, and Dan Hardy's submission counters. Man, that guy has heart. Arms were locked out 100%. He wasn't going to tap no matter what. We want to show you guys how the setup took place, how Dan Hardy survived, and what could have been done to possibly close the deal slightly differently. Check it out. So, GSP found himself on Dan Hardy's back. The most immediate threat for Dan was the choke. So naturally, he had his hands up and was protecting his neck, defending like this, blocking. GSP threw a couple punches, distraction strikes to get his hands even higher, and then he went to a double wrist grab, opened the legs big time, and let them both spin around. And we ended up here. Now, from here, rotate so they can see the arm straight down. So my arm, the arm that I'm about to break, is supposedly straight right now. Nobody understood why he didn't catch the arm lock. But the arm is not straight. The arm is actually, go back, a little bit rotated this way. And that rotation, when I raise my hips, it does not hyperextend the arm the same as if it was like this. This is huge. So from here, what Dan did was, look how his body's a little sideways, which puts his arm higher off the floor, which makes me have to raise my hips even higher. Very smart counter from Dan Hardy to turn his shoulders away, lifting his shoulder up, making it harder to break. GSP had his feet crossed, okay? Dan rotated the arm a little bit and he raised his hips up, go ahead, and that broke the feet open. Now, GSP's trying to break the arm this way because he realizes that the angle of the arm is not how he would like. But as he tried to break the arm this way, it takes too much arm strength, and Dan, at the same time, starts rolling out over his shoulder. What's crazy is that this is what Hender does to me. So, got the arm, immediate twist of the arm. Now, of course, the person in my position wants to rotate the arm this way, but there's too much happening at once. Yeah. There's the arm rotation, relax. There's the hip lift, go ahead. There's finding my foot. You know what I mean? It's slippery. And even though GSP is a monster and doesn't get tired, still your grip starts to move with the gloves, whatever, it's slippery, and then he's gone. One option that I use, lay down again please, on the spin out, that you guys can use if you ever find yourself in the same situation, is the belly down transfer. As he hips up and starts to go, okay, as he walks around, put this foot back in the hole, rotate over, and take the arm right here and go belly down. So now my feet are still clamped on his body. I preserve the angle in relation to my opponent, and I got my hips on top of the elbow, and now I can pull the hand up and break right here. So if he walks around by himself and I don't accommodate and roll with him, it makes sense that you lose the arm lock. But if as he walks around, I turn to my stomach, keep the arm, end up belly down, I can certainly continue with the hyperextension and do some damage. So that is one option you can use in addition to the rotation. It's all about that wrist rotation. It's all about the wrist rotation. How about the elbow, this right here, facing upwards? And because if that's facing up, you can thrust your hips into it, and with the hip thrust and an effective wrist control, the arm will break. The only reason Dan's arm did not break was because he effectively turned it sideways, and George could only use his hands to apply the pressure. So, Now you know. Next time you watch a fight and you see the arm is extended but is not breaking, you're not confused. You know precisely why it's not breaking, because the hip and the elbow are not aligned in the same direction, and or you know that it is hurting. Oh, it's hurting. He felt it the whole way. Yeah. Okay, so there you have it. Control the wrist rotation, control the elbow alignment, and if the partner spins out, consider that belly down transfer, and you should be good to go. Now it's time to explore a scenario from the fight and kind of break down how it might have unfolded differently if it was a real street fight situation. Many times throughout the fight, when GSP was achieving the side mount, Dan desperately would roll to his knees to try to get up from underneath. In response, GSP would jump on his back. So oftentimes, like side mount or any situation, even mount, he would roll, boom, Dan would get his hooks in and take the back appropriately, but then Dan would stand up. Okay? He was like this, and GSP would hang on. GSP would hang on to his back in that high tripod back mount position. What's the risk? I'm sure you already guessed it. Are you sure they guessed it? I'm sure. Street fight situation. From the tripod right here, if he's on stage right here, and I see his head right here, I'm going to go, boom, I'm going to slam his head on the ground. For sure. Tell me.
Yeah, and the part is, the crazy part, is that GSP, every fighter in the cage, knows that if they were in a real street fight, they would not allow themselves to be there.
GSP knows. Do they know?
They don't know.
Right. It's important that you make the distinction.
Yes.
You can't watch this fight, think that you can do that in a real fight. Because if you get on someone's back like that and your tripod and your face is going to get smashed into cement.
Now they could be thinking, well, why didn't Dan do that?
Why didn't Dan smash his face? Good point.
Because Dan knows that if he would have jumped forward,
squishy mats,
GSP would have probably tucked his head a little bit. It would have hit, maybe it would have had a little bit of a hit to the head.
Minor.
But Dan would have ended up back on the ground with GSP on his back.
Arm locks and chokes back all over again. So he intelligently stayed in the tripod, trying to slip, he tried to stay here and slip GSP off his back, and he was successful a few times.
And GSP spun out for arm locks, leg locks.
Yes. So let's talk about, he did a good thing. He went for the arm. Let's talk about what their options are. If you're in a street fight and you get someone's back, what are the options? What's the mindset to avoid from ending up in the same situation?
I mean, the simplest, safest option would be, of course, if you go ahead and roll, if he's hot, it depends. If he's right here before he gets up, maybe I would put my hips forward and flatten him out.
And then what? Choke.
Now that wasn't possible in that situation in the fight. Dan got up too quick.
Yeah.
They were go ahead, over the top. He was here. In a fight, I might even fall off and just go here.
Yes.
It's okay if I just go on my back, kick him in the face, get up and leave.
For sure. What else? Arm lock. One that, yes, for sure.
And GSP did go for the arm lock. He went here, he fell, and he tried to go for this.
Yes. It didn't unfold, of course, the way he anticipated, but that's a move. Bring the leg over. Once you get here, your shoulder's on the ground, so there's no more danger of getting slammed at that point. So you can slide off. If nothing else, just get off their back. Abort the mission. Do not cling on to the person while your head is this high off the ground, because if that's concrete, it's not going to be a pretty landing. We guarantee it. Clear? Clear. So now you know, okay? Most important mindset, what happens in an MMA fight and what happens in a street fight are two completely different things.
And when you're watching an MMA fight, kind of look and say to yourself, you know what, right there, this could go south in a street fight.
For sure, okay? Make the distinction. Always have that radar up and you'll be good to go. The breakdown context, very simple. Take the technique that we dissected, the GSP armbar from the back, and demonstrate it. Film yourself doing the technique and then upload it to YouTube as a video response to this video within 30 days of the post date, and you're entered to win.
Make sure you practice before you do it. Keep it 15, 30 seconds.
Quick, man. Nice though.
We're going to give the winner, which is going to be a random selection. We're going to randomly pick somebody.
So you're entered into a drawing.
And we're going to give the winner the free GracieUniversity.com white to blue belt curriculum, free access.
So you can sharpen your skills to the next level. Okay? So, have fun, stay focused, upload, and most importantly, keep it real.